It was just past midnight when Maria Chen noticed something strange on the monitor. The Earth farming outpost 9B, on the dry desert planet Nemeris, had been peaceful for months. It was a quiet mission. No wars, no pirates, no dangerous storms. Just farming. Maria liked it that way. Her job was to grow vegetables and make sure the food supply stayed strong for human colonies across the sector. But now something was wrong. Maria leaned closer to the glowing screen. The sensor grid in Sector 12, where the most valuable crops grew, was flashing yellow. Another sensor glitch? She muttered. But her gut told her it wasn't. She tapped a few buttons. A thermal image appeared. A small figure was moving through the rows of hydroponic pods. It was too small to be one of the local transport bots, and it wasn't human. "Someone's stealing our vegetables," Maria whispered. She grabbed her comm, considered calling her supervisor, then paused. The farm had strict rules. No contact with unknown alien life forms. Report all thefts. Stay inside during night hours. But Maria was too curious. She took a flashlight, slipped on her boots, and quietly left the safety dome. Outside, the cold wind of Nemeris blew fine dust across the ground. Maria pulled her scarf tighter around her neck. The stars above twinkled and the twin moons cast silver light across the farm. She reached Sector 12 in under 5 minutes, moving carefully between tall stacks of leafy green crops inside the clear grow domes. Inside one pod, she saw it. Movement. Something was crouching by the kale racks, picking vegetables and stuffing them into a worn cloth bag. Maria stepped forward and turned on the light. "Stop." "Don't move." The figure froze. It turned slowly. The light revealed smooth, pale blue skin that glowed faintly in the dark. Large, tear-shaped eyes blinked in fear. Its arms were thin and its clothing was tattered and dusty. Maria gasped. It was a Volari, an alien species she had only seen in reports, rare, peaceful beings known to live on the edges of the galaxy. This one was female. She looked tired, hungry, scared. I didn't want to steal," the alien said in broken galactic common. Her voice was soft, trembling. Maria kept her flashlight steady but lowered her tone. "Who are you? Why are you here?" The Volari dropped the bag and stepped forward slowly, her glowing eyes filled with tears. "Human. My children are dying. They are hungry. No food left. I come only for them." Maria blinked. Her heart skipped a beat. "Children?" She looked down at the dropped bag. It was full of soft vegetables, easy to digest, high in nutrients. Not the kind of thing a thief would take for profit. This wasn't greed. This was survival. "You came all this way for food?" Maria asked softly. The Volari nodded. Her hands trembled as she held them up in surrender. "No harm. Just help. Please." Maria stared at her, unsure what to do. The rulebook was clear. All unauthorized alien contact must be reported, but the rulebook had never looked into the eyes of a mother trying to feed her children. Back inside the dome, Maria offered the Volari a blanket and a protein bar from her personal supplies. The alien ate slowly, carefully, as if she wasn't used to solid food anymore. "What's your name?" Maria asked. The Volari hesitated, then answered, "Eslari." "I'm Maria. You're lucky I found you. This planet isn't safe at night." Eslari nodded. "I know, but my children, too weak to move far. I come alone." Maria felt a weight in her chest. "How many children?" "3. We hide far, under dune rocks near old water pipes." Maria's eyes widened. That area was outside the farming zone, dry, cracked land with little shelter. Temperatures dropped dangerously low at night. "You're hiding there? For how long?" Eslari looked down. 6 sons now. Food gone. I try to find more. Found your plants. I'm sorry." Maria rubbed her forehead. This wasn't just a case of stolen vegetables. This was a rescue mission. The next morning, Maria, stood outside the command office, unsure of what to report. She had two options: file an incident report, and Aslari would likely be taken by security patrols and deported, or worse, left in the wastelands. Or keep it quiet. Try to help. Break some rules. She looked at the sunrise over the quiet domes. She thought of Aslari's tired eyes, of her children hiding under the sand. Maria made her choice. That afternoon, Maria packed a bag with vegetables, water, and thermal blankets. She told her team she was running a system check near the edge of the perimeter. She found Aslari waiting just outside the farm's fence, hidden behind a broken rock. "Come," Maria said. "Take me to them." They walked for almost 30 minutes across the rocky ground, the wind picking up around them. Aslari moved with care, pausing often to check for danger. Finally, she pointed to a small crack in a hillside. Inside. Maria crawled in, her flashlight sweeping across the dim space. Inside, 3 small Valari children lay curled up on pieces of old fabric. Their skin was dull. Their movements were slow. But when they saw Aslari, they stirred, and when they saw the bag in Maria's hands, their eyes lit up. They ate quietly, their mother helping them drink water and nibble at soft slices of squash and leafy greens. Maria watched in silence. Her heart ached. These weren't criminals. They were refugees. By the time she returned to the farm, the stars were coming out again. Maria entered her log and marked the day as routine perimeter check, no anomalies. But in her private notes she wrote, "Discovered intelligent alien life form seeking aid. No threat detected. Will continue observation and assistance. Cannot ignore suffering. Humanity must choose compassion over rules." And so, Maria Chen, farmer of Outpost 9B, became something more. She became a protector. She became hope. The next morning, Maria Chen woke up before sunrise. She couldn't stop thinking about the alien children hiding in the hollow dunes. Their tired eyes, their slow movements, and their thin arms stayed in her mind. She had seen hunger before, but not like this. Not on a dry, lonely planet where help was far away. Maria stood by her small kitchen window, sipping a hot cup of herbal tea. The sky outside was painted orange and pink. The farm domes looked peaceful, but she knew peace was not real, not while 3 young lives were quietly fading in the desert. "I can't wait for permission," she whispered. "They won't survive that long." Maria spent the morning gathering supplies. She packed high energy, protein gel, water, soft vegetables, and vitamins. Then she added medical patches, thermal wraps, and a portable light. It filled a large backpack. She looked at the communicator on her desk. Should she report the situation to Earth Command? She thought for a long moment, then shook her head. They'll only say, "No contact allowed." They'll say, "Send the alien away." But how can I send a mother and her children into danger? Maria turned off the communicator. Later that afternoon, she met Aslari again at the edge of the farm. The alien mother was waiting behind a pile of rocks, just like before. She looked tired but hopeful. Maria handed her the bag. Food, medicine, blankets. Aslari's eyes glowed softly. "Thank you, Maria. You are kind. My children will smile today." Maria smiled back. "Can I see them again? Just to make sure they're okay?" Aslari nodded. "Yes. Come." The walk through the dunes was rougher this time. The wind had picked up. Dust blew across the land, stinging their faces. But Aslari knew the path well. She led Maria to the same crack in the rock, and they crawled inside. The children were still there, curled up, weak but alive. Their small eyes blinked at the light. Their skin looked a little brighter than before. Maria knelt beside them and opened the bag. Aslari gave them water first, then soft bites of food. "Will they be okay?" Maria asked. Aslari nodded slowly. "If food continues, if warm, they can heal." Maria looked around the small cave. The space was barely large enough for the family. The walls were dry and cool, but there was no true shelter from cold nights or sandstorms. They needed a better place. "You can't stay here forever," she said. "It's not safe." Eslari looked down. "I know, but humans do not welcome us." Maria's heart felt heavy. She didn't have the power to make big changes, but she could help, one small step at a time. Back at the farm, Maria met with her close friend and fellow worker, Jonah Reyes. He was a systems tech and the only one Maria trusted with secrets. "Jonah, I need your help," she said. He raised an eyebrow. "What kind of help?" She hesitated. Then she told him everything, from the first night she caught Eslari to the hidden children and the danger they were in. Jonah listened without speaking. When she finished, he was quiet for a long time. Finally, he said, "You broke protocol. I know. But you also followed your heart." He leaned back inside. "All right, what do you need?" Maria smiled. "I need power packs, a small heater, and an old tent from storage, something strong enough to stand in the dunes." Jonah rubbed his chin. "I can get those, but if anyone finds out, I'll take the blame," she said. Jonah nodded. "Then I'll help, but be careful." That night, Maria and Jonah carried the supplies to the hollow dune. Eslari helped set up the tent. The heater gave off a warm hum. The children smiled for the first time. Maria felt something change in her heart. This wasn't just about rules anymore. It was about doing what was right. 2 days passed. Maria kept bringing food in secret. Eslari's children slowly began to walk and play again. Their skin became brighter and they made soft chirping sounds when they laughed, but peace didn't last. On the third night, Maria received a message. "To all station staff, corporate ship Vulcan Prize arriving for inspection. Prepare reports, all sections must pass security scans." Maria froze. The Vulcan Prize was known for strict inspections. If they found out about the hidden aliens, they would report it to Earth Command. The Valari could be taken away, or worse, left behind on the desert planet. She had to act quickly. Maria met with Jonah again. "We need to hide them better," she said, "or create a distraction." Jonah looked thoughtful. "We could shut down the east field sensors for a few hours. Say we're running a test. That would keep the inspectors away from the dunes." "Can you do that?" He nodded. "Yes, but only once. After that, they'll get suspicious," Maria agreed. "One chance is all I need." The next day, the Vulcan Prize arrived. A sleek, silver ship with blinking lights and a large crew. Their lead officer was tall, cold, and professional. "We are here to inspect farm records, resource usage, and scan for unauthorized activity," he said. "Please cooperate." Maria smiled and handed over her reports. Jonah started the sensor test and half the inspection crew was delayed. Maria used the time to visit Eslari one more time. "You must be ready to move," she said. "Soon they will find you here." Eslari nodded. "We understand, but where can we go?" Maria took a deep breath. "There's a storage bunker near the West Hills. No one uses it anymore. I'll clean it and prepare it. It has walls, power, and water access. Not perfect, but better." Eslari bowed her head. "You have saved us many times. We owe you everything." Maria shook her head. "You don't owe me. I'm just doing what humans should do." By evening, the children were moved safely to the bunker. Jonah had rerouted power from an old system. The Valari family now had shelter, warmth, and enough food to last several days. The Vulcan Prize finished its inspection and left the next morning without noticing anything strange. Maria stood on the edge of the farm watching the ship disappear into the sky. Her heart was still heavy, but she felt proud. She had made a choice. A human choice. The stars above Nemeris were calm, but Maria Chen's heart was not. It had been 2 days since the Vulcan Prize left the farming outpost. They had not found the Valari family. The inspection team had gone through records, checked storage rooms, and even tested the soil, but they missed the small bunker hidden near the West Hills. That old bunker was now home to Eslari and her 3 children. Maria still brought them food and clean water each night. She also brought books and games from the farm's education center, hoping the children would feel less afraid. Every time she visited, they seemed stronger, happier. But something had changed. Jonah Reyes, her trusted friend and tech expert, had been acting quiet lately. He avoided eye contact and barely said more than a few words. Finally, one evening, Maria found him near the solar panel station, staring out into the dark sky. "Jonah," she said softly. "What's wrong?" He didn't answer at first. Then, he sighed and turned to her. "Maria, I made a mistake." Her heart jumped. "What kind of mistake?" "I told someone. I didn't mean to. But I was talking to a friend on a private channel. They work on the Vulcan prize. I didn't say names, just that something strange was happening on Nemeris. I think they guessed." Maria felt the ground shift beneath her feet. "You told them there were aliens?" Jonah nodded slowly. "Not directly. But now, they might come back." The next morning, a message appeared on the outpost's main screen. "Attention Corporate Patrol returning to Nemeris. Prepare full transparency check. Outside assistance requested from Central Security Unit. Arrival in 48 hours." Maria stood frozen in front of the message. Around her, farm staff whispered in confusion. Inspections never came this close together. She hurried to the bunker. Eslari listened quietly as Maria explained. "They're coming back, this time with security." The alien mother held her youngest child close. "We must run," she said. "They will take us away." Maria shook her head. "There's nowhere to run on this planet. The only place you'll be safe is here with us, but we must be smart." Eslari looked at her with fear. "What can we do?" Maria paused. Then a plan began to form in her mind. "We're going to show them what it means to be human." Back at the farm, Maria gathered her closest team members. These were people she trusted, people who had worked beside her for years. "You all know me," she said. "You know I follow rules. But now, I ask you to break one. For a good reason." She told them about Eslari and her children, about their hunger, their fear, and how they had survived in the dunes. There was silence. Then, one by one, her team members nodded. "We'll help," said Lynn, the farm medic. "We're with you," said Malik, the greenhouse manager. Jonah, who had been quiet all day, stood up. "I made the mistake. Let me help fix it." Maria smiled. "Then here's what we're going to do." Over the next 24 hours, the farm crew worked in secret. They created a safe space beneath the soil, an old root chamber, unused for years, now turned into a warm hiding place. Air filters were installed, lights were hidden, and food was stored. Meanwhile, Jonah created false sensor readings to confuse any scans. Malik used old compost bins to mask heat signatures. Lynn programmed the cleaning bots to run a fake route to block cameras. Everyone had a job. Everyone helped. This was no longer just about Maria. It was about the whole team. It was about what kind of humans they wanted to be. When the patrol arrived, it was not just a ship. It was a floating station with blinking lights and a sharp metal voice. The lead officer, a woman named Captain Rowe, stepped out wearing a silver badge. "We received unconfirmed reports of alien activity on this outpost," she said. "All areas must be scanned. All personnel must answer questions." Maria met her with a calm face. "Of course, we will cooperate fully." The inspection began. Captain Rowe and her team moved through the domes, scanning everything. Jonah's fake readings did their job well. Sensors reported nothing unusual. Lynn showed clean health records. Malik explained the compost piles with ease, but Captain Rowe was not easily fooled. She paused near the west field. "What is under this soil?" Maria stood beside her. "Old farming equipment. We buried some rusted pipes years ago. Nothing of value." The captain ordered a scan. The machine blinked, then beeped green. No life signs detected. Maria breathed quietly. After 12 long hours, the inspection ended. Captain Rowe stood in the center of the main dome. No aliens found. But be warned, if we receive another report, Earth Command will take control of this outpost. Maria nodded. Understood. The patrol ship left soon after. That night, Maria returned to the root chamber. Islari and the children were safe. Maria sat beside them and smiled. They're gone. Islari touched her hand gently. You risked much for us. Maria looked at the children playing quietly with puzzle blocks. You're part of this farm, now. And no one, no rule, no ship, no cold law, will change that. 2 days later, Maria wrote a message, not to Earth Command, but to the Coalition's public broadcast network. It was a message meant for the galaxy. She told the story of a human farm on a lonely desert planet. She shared how a mother had crossed dangerous land to feed her children. She explained how her crew had chosen kindness over silence, and how rules should never be more important than life. She ended the message with one simple sentence. We are human, not because of where we were born, but because of the choices we make. She sent it into the stars. 3 days after Maria Chen sent her message into the galaxy, the quiet desert of Nemeris began to change. It started with one small light in the sky, then 2, then 10. Ships arrived. Not warships, not inspectors, but news vessels, scientists, independent peace envoys, and even teachers. They had heard Maria's words on the public broadcast network, and they came to learn more. The message had spread far. Across planets and star stations, people listened as Maria described a desperate alien mother, a team of brave humans, and a choice made from kindness, not law. Maria watched the ships land one by one, their lights blinking like stars falling from the sky. She stood on the edge of the farming dome, her heart beating fast. Jonah came up beside her carrying a communication tablet. The broadcast reached more than 12 sectors, he said. Some leaders are asking for a full report. Others just want to meet the Valari. Maria nodded. Then we'll let them meet her. It's time. Inside the root chamber, Islari sat quietly with her children. They had made drawings today, pictures of flowers, stars, and a small green planet with 2 suns. The children smiled as Maria entered. Visitors have arrived, Maria said gently. People who want to understand your story. Islari looked unsure. Her head tilted. Will they judge us? Some might, Maria admitted. But many want peace. They want to see hope. You are that hope. Islari thought for a long time. Then she stood up slowly and said, Then we will go. We are not hiding anymore. The next day, Maria arranged a meeting in the main dome. Representatives from different ships gathered. Some were humans. Some were from other species, tall beings, with blue skin, small creatures with floating eyes, and others that Maria had only seen in old reports. They all stood in silence as Islari walked in with her children. Her skin shimmered under the dome's light. Her youngest child held Maria's hand. Maria took a deep breath and spoke first. This is Islari. She is a mother. She crossed the desert with her children, not to attack us, not to harm anyone, but to find food, because her people were forgotten. Whispers moved through the crowd. One human reporter raised his hand. What happened to the Valari colony? Islari stepped forward. Many years ago, she said, her voice calm but sad. Our people were moved from their home world. We were promised safety. But when the dust storms came, no one returned to help. We built small shelters underground. But food was short. When my partner died, I was alone with the children, so I searched for help. Another person asked, Why come to a human outpost? Because we saw green domes from far away. And I believed, if humans grow food, maybe, they also grow kindness. The room was quiet after that. Maria looked around. We had rules, she said. But rules didn't feed her children, people did. Later that evening, Maria and Jonah sat outside the dome. The desert was calm, the stars bright. Do you think this will change anything? Jonah asked. Maria looked up at the sky. I think change already began the moment we chose compassion over control. Over the next few days, something incredible happened. The visitors who came didn't just listen, they helped. One ship brought solar-powered greenhouses and offered to build a new food center for both humans and Valari. Another group offered medical help. A science team asked if they could study Valari technology, hoping to improve both species' survival tools. Even Earth Command, who had first ordered no alien contact, sent a message. We recognize the bravery of the Nemeris farming team. The Valari family may stay as guests. A review board will visit to create a new policy on interspecies emergency aid. It was a small step, but a big start. Inside the farming dome, Maria watched as Lari's children laugh with human kids. They were drawing again, this time together. One drew a Valari flower, another drew a starship. The drawings were pinned to the wall. Lari sat beside Maria. I never thought this could happen, she said softly. Neither did I, Maria replied. But people surprised me, in a good way. Lari smiled. You helped us, and now others help too. Perhaps your message was not just for space, but for hearts. That night, Maria received a call from Earth Command's Director of Civil, Harmony. A calm voice appeared on her screen. Maria Chen, you've become a symbol. Across 10 colonies, people are sharing your broadcast. They're asking, what would Maria do? Maria laughed a little. I just helped a mother in need. Yes, the director replied. And in doing so, you reminded everyone that being human means more than following rules. It means caring even when it's hard. He paused, then added, we're creating a new division, one focused on peaceful support and emergency aid between species. Would you consider helping us shape it? Maria's eyes widened. I'm just a farmer. Exactly, the director said. That's why people trust you. Later, Maria walked outside. The stars looked the same, but the world had changed. A breeze passed through the sand, soft, cool, and behind her the sound of life filled the air, alien voices mixing with human ones, laughter rising from the dome, the quiet hum of a greenhouse, building itself. She smiled. Nemeris was no longer just a lonely outpost. It was a place where kindness grew. 6 months passed on the desert planet of Nemeris. The orange dunes still stretched far and wide, and the twin suns still burned bright during the day. But inside the domes, everything had changed. The farming outpost was no longer just a food station. It had become a symbol of hope, a small living example of what happened when humans chose compassion over fear. Maria Chen walked through the greenhouse dome, carrying a small basket of tomatoes. The plants had grown stronger. The soil had become richer. But more importantly, the people, human and Valari, had grown closer. Children ran between rows of crops. Some had greenish-blue Valari skin. Others had human eyes and brown hair. But they laughed together without fear or walls. Maria smiled. Near the East Dome, a school had been built. It was simple, just a few rooms with learning tablets and shared books, but it was filled with new ideas. Lari stood there, helping children read both human and Valari language. She turned as Maria entered. They're learning fast, Lari said proudly. One child even wrote a story about a spaceship made of light. Maria chuckled. Maybe that's the future. Lari nodded. A future with no hunger, no fear, just stars and kindness. One morning a new ship arrived. It was smaller than the patrol crafts and quieter than the news vessels. Painted white with blue lights, it bore the mark of the new interspecies. Unity Council.out stepped a man in a dark gray suit. His eyes were sharp but kind. Maria Chen? He asked. Maria stepped forward. Yes? My name is Kellen Rhodes. I'm a diplomat for peaceful cooperation. I've come to deliver something and ask something. Maria raised an eyebrow. Go ahead. Kellen pulled out a silver tablet and handed it to her. The screen glowed. Official declaration. The Nemeris model of shared living is hereby recognized as a guide for future interspecies cooperation. All human outposts are encouraged to study and follow its principles. Maria blinked in surprise. This is real? Very real, Kellen said. Your story changed everything. Now Earth and other worlds want to build similar peaceful communities, but they need someone to teach them. Someone like you. Later that evening, Maria sat by the solar pond thinking. The stars were slowly blinking to life in the sky. Behind her, laughter echoed from the dining dome where humans and Valari shared food. Jonah Reyes joined her, sitting beside her quietly. So, he said after a pause, are you going to leave us and become some kind of galactic teacher? Maria smiled faintly. I don't know. I never wanted fame or power. Just a good life. Good soil. A place where people care for each other. Jonah leaned back, hands behind his head. You already made that place. She looked at him. Maybe. Now it's time to help others make their own. Before Maria could give her answer to the diplomat, she wanted to talk to Aslari one more time. They met under the moonlight, near the sand garden where Valari flowers were growing for the first time. I may leave Nemeris for a while, Maria said gently. Aslari tilted her head. You are the heart of this place. Maria shook her head. Not anymore. You are. Your children. My crew. This outpost can run without me now, but the galaxy needs help. There are other mothers like you. Other forgotten families. Aslari touched her arm. Then go, she said. Plant kindness across the stars, like you did here. A week later, Maria boarded the Unity Council ship. As it lifted into the sky, she looked down at Nemeris, at the domes, the farms, the school, and the people waving below. She whispered to herself, this isn't goodbye. It's just the next planting season. Months passed. Maria traveled from planet to planet. She gave talks in domes and council halls. She helped design new farms that could welcome alien guests. She told the story of Aslari and the vegetables, of kindness in the desert, of how one act of care changed the course of many lives. People listened, some cried, some clapped, but many decided to act. Soon, other outposts followed the Nemeris model. Peace centers were built in old military stations. Food-sharing programs were set up in struggling colonies. Human children began learning alien languages, and alien children drew pictures of Earth. Maria watched it all with quiet joy. One day she returned to Nemeris. The air smelled the same, hot sand and fresh crops. But now the farm domes had doubled. More greenhouses, more classrooms, and even a spaceport for small ships. The Valari no longer hid in root chambers. They lived in open homes, working side by side with humans. Aslari met her at the landing pad. They hugged like sisters. You've been busy, Maria said. We all have, Aslari replied. You inspired it. That evening, the whole outpost gathered in the central dome. It had become a tradition to hold a festival under the stars every time Maria returned. Children sang songs in 2 languages. Teenagers showed off science projects that used both Valari and human technology. Farmers shared fresh meals made from desert herbs and space vegetables. Maria stood up and gave one final speech. I came here as a farmer, she said, and I thought I would stay quiet forever. But then, one hungry mother changed everything. She reminded me that being human, or Valari, isn't about your skin or your language. It's about the choices we make, the care we show, the bridges we build. The crowd clapped. Some cried. Others simply smiled and nodded. Maria looked at the sky again. We're not just growing crops anymore, she said. We're growing a future. Together. The festival lasted long into the night, and far above Nemeris, among the stars, ships passed by slowly. Some carried messages of peace. Others carried seeds. But all of them, in some way, carried a piece of the story that started with stolen vegetables and a mother's desperate hope. A story that proved humanity still had heart. The end